Tell us a little bit about what you saw and being able to relay that message to Cora when you watched Kimbrel pitch and kind of help out so he wasn't tipping his pitches.
So tipping pitches, we hear about it all the time.
People at home understand what tipping pitches is all about.
It's amazing.
And that's remarkable.
Alex, you had a controversial riff on last week's podcast. I've received more than one text message about this riff.
Okay. 2
whole text messages about this riff.
It's more than one.
And the people really need to understand if your stance on creative dentistry has evolved. They want to know, what were you talking about? What did you mean?
What was the deal with that?
What was the deal? Has there been any resolution to the creativity of your dentistry? Anything else that have you formulated a crisis PR response to the situation that you created here on the Tipping Pitches podcast?
No.
Less than 7 days ago.
Like Sydney Sweeney, I said what I said. I'm not elaborating. You take it for what it is. I was not trying to make a political statement with that, okay?
I was really happy that you were able to find time to record this podcast despite seeing Housemaid every day this week. You're going to go see it later tonight, right?
I am, actually, yeah.
Make it 7 straight days.
No, I have no further comment on the matter. The record speaks for itself.
It doesn't. I don't even know what happened with that. I don't even understand it.
I don't really understand how we got to that point. No.
Well, how we got there is irrelevant. Let's just take it at face value from first principles. What are we talking about when we're talking about creative
the first principles?
Stop with okay, so you just want me to just make this podcast into an echo chamber then?
Yes. Right, as opposed to the thing it actually is. Just the town square, I would say.
Small town. It is sort of a town square vibe, but it's a small town.
It is a small town.
Small town, USA.
More of an unincorporated town. Gun
to your head, what does that mean? What's the difference between an incorporated town and an unincorporated town?
I mean, I think these are towns that are not like formally served by municipal services, that are like nominally a part of the municipality, but like the fire trucks don't go there, you know?
Wait, they don't?
I don't actually know.
That was such a serious answer. You were so scholarly on me. And then halfway through your answer, I remembered that your degree is in metropolitan studies. Right. So it's like kind of you actually sort of should know the answer to this.
Right. Yes.
And then you also, write letters to municipalities trying to get them to buy solar energy.
Yes, literally. Yeah. I was looking at an unincorporated municipality the other day.
It has such a radical tone. An unincorporated municipality, like it just sprung up like an anarcho commune. It's unincorporated. We don't acknowledge any incorporation of this municipality.
How can we unincorporate ourselves? Like, can we petition to unincorporate like Brooklyn?
Yeah, I live in the unincorporated county of Kings County.
Exactly.
4 million people.
Right. Who take care of us? We take care of us.
I feel like that sometimes in Brooklyn. Like when the G train stops 5 stops away and I have to walk an hour home in the cold, which is something that happened to me last month. It felt pretty unincorporated in that moment.
I love the idea of like using it as an adjective to just describe the situation or like feeling like, bro, I stayed up so late last night. I'm feeling hella unincorporated today.
Last night was an unincorporated municipality. We got a pretty loose one today. This is the last episode of 2025. And so we figured we'd talk a little bit about what's happened in the last week since we did an episode. Really not that much news going on. Everyone's really powered down for 2025, you and me included. But we do have a little bit of news, namely Munetaka Murakami signing with the big, bad Chicago White Sox. How will we prevent them from assembling a Death Star? We'll talk about that. We never got around to talking about Diamond Baseball Holdings and their expansion last week. The luxury tax bills, the official luxury tax bills came out. Of course, that is deeply our shit. And then we're going to do a year in review for our bingo card, which longtime listeners will know wasn't our greatest effort, but hopefully will lead to some good content today.
Mm-hmm.
Before we do all of that, I am Bobby Wag.
I am Alex Baisley.
And you are listening to Tipping Pitches. Alex, before we talk about luxury tax bills, thank you to this week's new Patreon members, Clay, Milo, Schwinn to win, not just Schwinn.
Nice.
Schwinn to win. ML and Nathan. You need a last minute holiday gift for someone. There's really not much you can get delivered these days before Christmas or before whatever holiday you're celebrating. I think Hanukkah's actually over now, or it's like close to over. But if you need something last minute, patreon.com/tippingpitches, go ahead and gift a membership to the loved one in your life who likes to kind of love and hate baseball at the same time while laughing. Still working on that elevator pitch, but hey,
it was good.
I saw in the Slack that someone was gifted a full year membership to the Tipping Pitches Patreon for a night of Hanukkah by their parents, and I thought that was quite endearing.
That's really sweet.
I was endeared by that. Alex is crying. He's crying.
Yes, I am.
He's literally crying.
Brought a tear to my eye.
Okay, I know I said that we were going to talk about luxury tax bills, but should we talk about Murakami first?
Sure, why not?
So actually, we didn't tell the listeners this at the time. Why are you laughing already? You're laughing already. I haven't even said this. I haven't even done the bit yet. 0 words of the bit have happened.
I can see it coming from a mile away. Yes. What haven't we told the listeners about me?
We haven't told the listeners this yet. But Alex actually did 3 podcasts, 3 straight weeks over the summer from Japan, where he was scouting Murakami himself. And so he is going to dump the scout's notebook and really tell everyone exactly what they need to know about Munetaka Murakami, the baseball player. So Alex, I mean, this is like sort of, in a way, your magnum opus of 2025. So let's hear it, brother.
No, let's get into it. Let's roll our sleeves up.
Mine already are rolled up.
I think let's really peel back the layers on this one, because there's a lot to talk about here in this signing.
Draw the curtain.
Yeah, let's draw. Well, I want to get into it a little bit, if that's okay with you.
In the thick of it.
Again, there's so much to unpack here that I really just want to take a moment to maybe dissect this signing and what it means, because it's big. It's really big. And so I think this is the place where we can use that time to discuss a little bit about Murakami and what that signing means for the White Sox.
We'll go big picture first, and then we'll really zoom in too and talk about Murakami.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm excited for this. To be clear, I've been waiting a while to have this discussion with you. Obviously, we've had many discussions about it offline. The goal, I think, is to recreate some of those discussions here on this podcast, because that's what we do here on Tipping Pitches, is discuss baseball players like Murakami.
It's weird when you know something so well, and then you have to kind of translate
and
that
you're
to
sort
an
of
audience.
and you're sort of like, where do you even begin? Because like I said, there's a lot of layers to this story. I don't know. I'll turn it over to you. I'll pause there real quick just to see sort of what your reaction is. How you were feeling about the signing, because again, I don't want to get ahead of my skis here, but it rocked my world for sure.
Well done. Well played. Round of applause. Woo! Everyone cheer at home. Do a quick clap unless you're driving a car or you're at work.
Single season NPB home run holder?
Correct. Broke Shohei Ohtani's single season home run record at the age of 22. He is now 25, so he played 2 more seasons after that record-breaking season. But that season and the affiliation with a record that used to be Ohtani's most recently kind of put him, I think, on the map to, I won't even say the casual American baseball fan, because as evidenced by what we just did for the last 90 seconds, he's not really hugely on our map, other than what we have learned during his free agency period in the last few weeks. But that kind of put him on the radar of the hyper literate baseball fan, international baseball fan, those who keep an eye on the international market and who might be coming over and who might be an impact player, Murakami he's a 2-time NPB MVP. And I think a lot of people, dating back to earlier in the year when we found out that Murakami was going to come over, I think a lot of people thought that there would be a little bit more of a sweepstakes for him. And it's turned out over the last couple months that the market has been cooler than maybe anticipated. And I think there's a lot of reasons behind that. The first and foremost and the most cited that you will see in the reporting about Murakami signing is just swing and miss. I mean, the raw power is definitely there. You don't run into 60 home runs without raw power. But facing MLB pitching, I think there's a little bit of a wider error bar in terms of the variance of what his outcome might be if he is still swinging and missing and striking out as often as he did. I think last year, his strikeout rate for his career in Japan, he played in 1,003 games and struck out 1,068 times. He had 4,246 plate appearances in those 1,003 games. So he's striking out in about a quarter of his plate appearances in Japan, which is a lot. That's a lot. If you had these kinds of power numbers in AAA and you were striking out this much, teams would be a lot more likely to pony up for you, I think. But the velo over here combined with the off-speed stuff, I think is an open question mark for him. There are better places to go to get a scouting report on Murakami, the player. I think what I'm interested in talking about is him landing with the White Sox for 2 years, $34 million. I mean, he clearly probably wanted a longer term contract, but 2 years puts him back in free agency at 27, an age where you can still sign a very, very big contract should he prove himself over the next couple of years. And $34 million is enough for a lifetime, in my opinion, just in case things don't work out. So this is kind of a middle ground sort of contract rather than a longer term deal with lower AAV. The White Sox, though? Are the White Sox back?
The White Sox are back.
They got the first overall pick, too.
Justin Ishbia, legend. Whisperings that the Pope may have been involved in this as well. So there are a lot of threads to pull at. No, I mean, I think it makes sense for them. I don't hate it for the White Sox. They need the power. They don't really have anyone resembling a first baseman right now,
including Murakami, who doesn't play first
right, exactly.
Well.
Yes,
I try,
but it definitely hangs on his bat, right? I think the White Sox are a team that's like well set up to shoulder that risk in terms of the size of the contract. It's relatively minuscule. It's not actually going to move the needle, and the longevity of it too, or lack thereof. I think it insulates them from some of the fear mongering you hear about these 7 or 8 year deals that get signed with guys who haven't proven themselves necessarily.
You can't become Masataka Yoshida and not get plate appearances 2 years into your 5-year deal if you only get a 2-year deal.
Exactly. Yes. So like I get it for them. And from his point of view, he, as you mentioned, he gets that like life altering money. And then if he plays well, has an opportunity to go back to the open market with a couple years of MLB experience under his belt and say, now you've seen what I can actually do against major league pitching. So like the margin for error, I think, on both sides is probably pretty wide. A rebuilding team who can take a flyer on an international star.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was interesting to sort of see how the supposed market did collapse for him in a pretty short period of time, right? You mentioned Yoshida's $90 million deal that the Red Sox handed out a few years ago. Still the richest contract that a Japanese player has ever gotten. And there were rumors
for his first deal.
Yeah.
Famously, there's another one that's a touch richer than that.
Oh, yes. But the initial projections had Murakami blowing this out of the water, right? Upwards of 100 million, 150 million, even looking at 6-year deals, 7-year deals, or something like that. And I do wonder how much this is a reflection of his particular skill set and how teams are just collectively thinking it's going to translate, and also the sort of mindset of the landscape of the sport is going to change pretty drastically in the next couple of years. So rather than taking these big swings, wait it out, give him his 2-year deal. That's fine. When he hits free agency, he'll also be on the other side of a new collective bargaining agreement. And so I wonder how much this is a reflection of the broader belt tightening that we're seeing in the market in general, that just sort of happens to compound with the sort of difficulty translating skill sets from players coming over from Japan.
Mm-hmm. The market is so varied that it's really hard to, I mean, both the international market, but also the free agent market in general, right? There's like 20 different roles that you can fill on a team nowadays, the way that rosters are constructed. And there's 30 teams, and there's domestic free agents, and there's international free agents, and there's Rule 5, and there's the minors. And it's just like, there's a lot of factors playing into this. But one thing that I really have noticed in the last few years, and it's impossible to say whether this is an advancement of how we understand baseball, finally catching up to the behavior of the market, since I think the market probably runs on a bit of a delay because there's a lot of old school dudes who are making decisions, even though we know sort of what the cutting edge thinking looks like. I think that the quote unquote cutting edge thinking lags behind for a little while in most cases. But what I've really started to notice in the last few years is you can get a team to throw a high AAV out for a player that has some big question marks or some obvious flaws, but you can't really get very many teams to do that for very long anymore. And I'm not saying that I would have expected Murakami to get 10 years, 300 million 5 years ago during the middle of the capital strike or in post-COVID vibes. And I'm also not even saying, when you compare it to a guy like Pete Alonso, who is also a first baseman, who is also a power hitter, seemed like his market was a little cold until the Orioles came in and gave him a 5th year that basically no one else was going to give him, which, by the way, it's still confounding to me that it was the Orioles that were the team that did this. I think there are fewer and fewer teams with outlier behavior in terms of what they will give for a player, that it feels like a market on a player can dry up way faster than it used to be. And I was thinking about this a little bit with Bregman, who has not signed yet. It felt like he was going to go back to the Red Sox, and he did not, or he has not yet, rather. And I look around and I'm like, who is the suitor for him? I can name 5 teams that I can name 15 teams that could use Alex Bregman. I can name 5 teams that probably should be in on Alex Bregman based on their current roster and payroll flexibility. But I can really only name 2 teams that I think might sign him, and that's, 3 teams. The Diamondbacks, the Red Sox, and I guess maybe the Tigers, if they're able to patch up what happened last offseason, where they were not able to bring him in and they thought they would. It's kind of strange, I mean, Bregman is one of the best players on the market.
Mm-hmm.
Bellinger's market seems a little hotter than someone like Bregman's, but he's coming off, I think, 2 straight free agencies where he had to sign a contract that was much shorter than he was expecting going into it. This is starting to happen to more and more guys where they're being forced to sign prove it deals. And the team is like, I'll give you the AAV, but I want the optionality 5 years from now or 3 years from now. I don't want to be locked into this contract. And it's not there quite yet, but this is a conversation that we're going to keep having, and it's going to become an existential thing for baseball because, as we know, as listeners of this show know, as we've talked about a million times, the market of baseball is set up to back pay players for performance that they were underpaid for the first 6 years of their career because of team control and arbitration. That is just what the market is. You can say that that's archaic and silly, and we should fix that, but that is what the current setup is, and that is what both sides continue to opt back into every CBA. And so I'm curious to see whether or not that is this is generating any sort of angst on either side. Like if the ownership side is mad that they had to give out these long contracts for as long as they did because enough big market dummies, in their view, kept giving them out, and or if the MLBPA side is like, why is fucking Alex Bregman not able to sign a 4-year deal or a 5-year deal? Like, this is messed up. So it's just what I thought about when I saw the Murakami 2-year signing. It obviously is not a 1-to-1 because he has not proven himself in Major League Baseball yet. And so there are enough question marks that you can see a world in which this singular case is eminently explainable as to why he signed a shorter deal. And to credit the White Sox, I mean, you never have to hand it to Jerry Reinsdorf or whatever, but like, this is the exact kind of player that you should be jumping into when you see that the market has cooled and you can give him $34 million for just 2 years. And if it doesn't work out, that doesn't necessarily hamstring you from moving off of him in the future and moving to a different young player who you want to try out to rebuild your team and rebuild the fan sentiment around your team. I think this is a fun signing and it's intriguing. He immediately becomes their second highest paid player, though, at $17 million. That's kind of brutal.
Behind who? Benintendi?
No, Luis Robert.
Oh, yes. Who they're incidentally trying to move.
Correct. So Murakami will immediately be.
Mets?
That's not going to happen. Why would I want Luis Robert Jr. for $20 million when I could have Tyrone Taylor for $5? Let's recreate hypothetical Luis Robert Jr. in the aggregate, dude.
There you go. Yeah, Luis Ballgame doesn't have the same ring to it.
No. I like Lou Bob, though. That's always been a fun one.
is really good. Yeah.
Benintendi makes 15. He's the third highest player now.
All right.
The White Sox payroll last year was $86 million.
Is that good?
This represents a 1/4 increase in their payroll. Not quite. 20% increase in their payroll.
Were any perspectives? Did you want to chime in on how close the Pirates were on this signing?
I heard that they were not interested because they essentially feel all set now that they got Brandon Lau. Like they feel they are leaps and bounds. The lineup, at least, still a little bit of work to do in the bullpen. You know, they got a big back end arm like Gregory Soto in there. But the Pirates feel like the lineup is full of. I mean, they're not ready to call it the 27 Yankees yet, but with Brandon Lau in there, feels like they may challenge the Twins record for most home runs in a single season.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard the phrase "murderer's row" thrown around. I'm not saying, but
everyone was like, "I love this trade for the Pirates," and I was like, "Let me just let them have it."
Good for the White Sox. You know, they needed a little win. I do think it's interesting. We're at a very interesting time in how teams approach like analytical like valuation of players too. Like the idea of the quote unquote market collapsing is really interesting to me because because you want to make a run on the banks. Yeah, exactly.
How could we make it collapse faster? Murakami signed for 2 years. Go to the bank and ask for all your money.
Go to the bodega and reach into the cash register now. No, but I mean, it also had me thinking about, you know, last week's discussion that we had about how Major League Baseball wants to like unify the technology that, and data that minor league teams are using and have access to. And it seems to me that these things happen so quickly now where you sort of see one team fall out and then other teams kind of starting to follow their lead. Like there is far less discrepancy in how teams are like approaching how do I determine what this player is going to add to my team? You know, it's sort of like, well, if the Red Sox are out on him on 5 years, 150 million or whatever, then maybe we should be out on him too, right? Like if they think it's a little too high, and like it's not the literal definition of collusion, and I don't even really think that's the intent behind it, but it sort of
It's
ends
not
up
the
being
intent, though.
but it sort of ends up being the effect anyway. Yes, and it's not the intent either. I don't know. That's just a sort of interesting wrinkle to the story to me of how I think teams are coming to very similar conclusions about players in ways that we may not have seen, 10, 15, 20 years ago.
Yeah. And Bregman is just one example. I mean, I think that whether or not teams actively thought about it this way at the beginning, I think that strict analytical thinking has had the effect of carving out the middle class of baseball players. And I don't even think Bregman is the best example of that because he's already been paid once. He already got an extension from the Astros. He's made over $200 million in his career. So he is firmly not in the middle class of baseball players. He is in the upper class of baseball players, both performance-wise and financially. But guys are just taking the prove it deal has become way more in vogue than it used to. I mean, if you think about what the Mets did in the offseason of 2021, they signed the two big signings were both in the outfield. They were Mark Canha and Starling Marte. Same offseason, Mark Canha and Starling Marte. I think both of them signed for 3 years. Canha was traded, and Marte his contract expired. Players like that, 2-tool players, 3-tool players, are not getting 3 years, $70 million or whatever those guys got nowadays.
No.
I mean, the guys at the top are still getting like 3 years, $90 million or 3 years, $85 million or something. But it's just kind of in a weird spot. I don't know.
Yeah. Interested to see how the rest of the offseason plays out. We're obviously headed towards a really interesting year of baseball. Very normal year.
Do you think Bryce Harper is going to get traded?
No. What
would you put it as a percentage if you had to? 0%? Less than 5? Less than 10?
Probably less than 10.
Okay.
Is that the word on the street now?
No. But it's like a little bit of tea leaf reading. I don't think things are going great there.
Right. Yeah.
There's the frankly like kind of erratic but cool behavior from Bryce Harper in the last 2 years, and there's also the erratic but bad behavior. Like all the health stuff is sort of weird. But there was like him trying to punch out Rob Manfred, and there's him, I guess, getting into arguments with the Phillies brain trust about it's hard to tell. I don't know, the way the team is built, not adding at the deadline or something like that. And then there was the Dombrowski quote, the Dombrowski press conference after the postseason ended, where he called Bryce Harper a good player but not elite and not up to his previous standards, which was like, oh,
yeah.
Not sure I would say that. Not sure I would say that. I don't even know if I would say that to one of my coworkers if I was Dombrowski, let alone to the press.
Yeah, yeah.
Can you imagine if Stearns, through all of this right now, was like, Lindor's pretty good, but not elite? I'd be like, what the fuck are you doing, dude? The disagreement was not about them not adding. It was about him wanting another extension. It was him wanting to continue his contract, and the Phillies were like, nah, bro, we're all right.
Yeah.
Right. And then Harper was a little pissed because he also doesn't have an opt-out, and so it seemed like he was a little bit salty from that.
Yeah. I don't know. A part of me thinks, and I know this is maybe not how ownership is approaching it or the front office is approaching it, but I kind of love that fire from him. Like, I love that he's a guy who's like, I want to stay here. Like, I don't want to go anywhere. That doesn't mean that things are going to be rosy between us 100% of the time. But like, I've got my boys back in the locker room. I want you to pay me, but like, I specifically want you to pay me, not the 29 other teams. Like, I've spent years cultivating this, this sort of suck up, like, persona that works, the shtick that frankly is landing and has largely continued to land, I think. So I don't know. I think it's okay for there to be a little bit of healthy disagreement. I think it's interesting because baseball players, generally speaking, are not so open about those relationships or dialogues that happen with front offices. I know in like the NBA, it's an open secret that, LeBron James has his, can call the shots when he would like to, if he needs to. And sometimes, many times does, I think that's like,
I haven't heard that about him, actually.
Okay. That's fair.
Are you breaking something? Is it your understanding that LeBron
am I telling
James
you this
sometimes
for the first time?
calls the shots? Are you saying that your understanding
That's just my understanding of it.
is that Rich Paul is leaning on the Lakers front office?
I don't know. Is Bryce baseball's version of that? I know that 8 years in, we're just redoing the bit of like, did we find baseball's LeBron? But
do you think Mike Trout's going to get traded?
Oh my God. Do I think Mike Trout's ever going to play baseball again? I'm not certain.
Well, he should start the season, at least.
I don't feel like he's going to get traded because I kind of don't know who is going to trade for him.
The Phillies.
1 for 1? Who says no?
Well, let's not go crazy. I don't think that's the vision. I can't see a world in which the Phillies are trying to add Mike Trout but lose Bryce Harper.
Get rid of Bryce Harper.
I think that well, okay, so you're saying under 10% for Bryce getting traded. Let's just say 5%.
Yeah.
What if the Phillies are 11 games under 500 at the trade deadline? What does that percentage look like then? And people are fucking pissed. People are pissed.
I don't know. I mean, I'm a sucker, right? I'm
not trying to give Steven for batting around an aneurysm right now. Like, that's not totally unrelated to what I'm doing.
I really don't think the percentage goes up that much. I think trading Bryce feels far more like a signal to me about the direction of the franchise than like just a soft reset. Like, I think if Bryce is on the market, that spells trouble for Dombrowski and the rest of his ilk.
Well, this is always how it ends with Dombrowski, though.
I know, yeah.
5 years of being like, is this guy a genius? And then in the fourth year, you're like, is this guy the worst person on earth? To be clear, I think he's a great GM.
Yeah.
Or president of baseball operations or whatever his title is. I just think that takes a lot of leeway from ownership. And ownership, I think Middleton has given them all the resources that they probably feel like they need. But there's an expiration date on that kind of philosophy running a club. Mm-hmm. The team's old, man. That team is fucking old.
Yeah.
Old. Really old.
I mean, how old is Bryce at this point? Like 34?
32?
32?
Bryce Harper age. This is what you come for. He is, well, I made a typo and didn't put the G in age, and AI overview doesn't know what I'm asking.
He's 33.
It's not young.
It's not. I would not say it's young. But that being said,
couple good years left. Play him out on the New York Mets. What do you think?
We have not yet seen the fruits
of
the EBOO. So I don't know. The jury's still out a little bit.
All right. That was just a thought-provoking conversation I wanted to have with you.
I love doing thought experiments with you.
The Phillies outfield looks straight up like the worst outfield in baseball right now, as it's currently constructed. Here are the names of the gentlemen who the Phillies intend to roll out in the outfield in 2026 while competing for a World Series. Nick Castellanos, Brandon Marsh,
yep,
Otto Kemp, and Weston Wilson. Plus, you could also trot out Kyle Schwarber out there if you need to.
That's true.
Alex, is that good? Is that an elite outfield?
I like Brandon Marsh. I'm a Brandon Marsh stan.
I need you to say way more about that. As a guy, as a player, as someone who's been on your fantasy team twice.
Like, mostly the third thing you just said.
I can see right through you when you talk about a player.
Right through me. But also, like, just plays the game the right way.
Couldn't disagree more.
Leaves it all out on the field.
I hate his energy. I'm sick of his shit.
Mm-hmm.
The hair thing is so tired.
It's a little bit how I feel about like John Fetterman these days. I'm like, we get it, dude. You don't wear a suit. Like, all right, the bit is over.
Holy hell. We got from Marsh to Fetterman and just
stayed within the state.
22 seconds.
No, it's not that crazy.
I don't get the sense that Fetterman spends much time in Pennsylvania these days. He spends his time locked in a bunker tweeting in Washington, D.C., while his staff desperately tries to break in and take the phone away from him.
Oh, man.
Can't believe you just had a pro Brandon Marsh take on this podcast.
I can only be me.
When I was listening back to last week's episode to edit it, you were doing so much Mets homerism. You kept talking about like, where's the team going to be at? Like, what are we going to feel like? You kept using the we.
Yeah.
And I was really proud of you. And now you come out with this fuck ass pro Brandon Marsh take.
I know.
And I'm like, are you even going to be allowed in Citi Field, or are they pasting your photo up on every entrance right now?
Well, we already know my face is pasted up in Citizens Bank Park after the interactions I've had there. So the options are narrowing for me.
The fraudulent fandom that you trotted out for clout.
Exactly. Yeah.
2.5 years ago to the day, basically.
Look, I'm still figuring things out. Okay. That's kind of funny that I said we, though, because I don't think I did that intentionally. And I generally don't do that anyway.
I know. That's why I was so shocked. I was like,
to think about.
We got him.
We got him. Mission accomplished.
Your fandom is such a beautiful flower that blooms in a different color every single spring.
Spice of life, you know? It keeps me on my toes. I don't even know who I'm going to be rooting for on opening day.
Just don't come out as a Braves fan.
That's okay. Yeah.
That actually would break me. I can accept the Phillies thing. I have a whole Philadelphia thing, as you and everyone know.
Yeah.
I can live with that. I know I've built up that muscle for tolerance.
I don't think being a Braves fan as a bit would even be enjoyable.
You know, come to think of it, like I literally think I have no Braves fans in my life. I think one of my coworkers is a Braves fan. And he's a nice guy. He means well, I think.
Right.
Can't help it. He's from Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't really care about baseball that much.
Okay.
So it's all right.
Yeah. He was born into it.
Yeah. He doesn't know any better. He's got to root for the Hawks. You know, let's cut him some slack. But other than that, it's pretty much none.
I think that's good. That's growth. That's healthy. I'm proud of you. Cut out the toxicity in your life.
It just was never there. I just don't know that many Braves fans.
To all the Braves fans listening,
pick a new team.
Exactly what I was going to say.
Or unsubscribe. Go watch Foolish Baseball's YouTube channel.
All right. What else? What else we got cooking?
Okay, let's quickly talk about the tax bill. You asked me if I wanted to talk about this, implying that you didn't really care enough to talk about it. Yeah. And I said, yeah, baby, let's.
I mostly brought it up to like rule it out. And you were like, oh, yes, that's a great idea.
Just kidding. Let's rule it in. Okay. The final CBT payrolls and their corresponding tax bills. At the top, of course, we have the Los Angeles Dodgers. And by the way, sharing this from a Bob Nightingale tweet. So take it with a grain of salt.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe some typos in here. Los Angeles Dodgers, $417 million. Their tax bill is $169 million. The New York Mets, by the way, Big Bob, my man, abbreviated the Mets as just NY and abbreviated the Yankees as NYY.
Holy shit.
We've taken
the
top spot, boys. Oh, that other team, you mean? The other New York team that you have to specify?
That you need a third
who
letter.
They are? Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know. I've heard of them, I think.
Oh, my God. Everything's coming up, Bob.
Yankees fans be like, well, the Mets missed the playoffs last year. It's like, yeah, congratulations on playing for 4 more days than the Mets played last year.
Ended up in the exact same place on your couch.
I think the Yankees won the playoff series last year.
Yeah.
Did they? Did they? Who did?
Yeah, they did.
Oh yeah, they beat Boston, and then they lost to Toronto. All right. Well, congratulations to us for recapping last year's playoffs. Nice work, everyone. Back to the task at hand. Competitive balance tax payrolls. Mets $347 million with a $92 million tax. Yankees $320 million, $62 million tax. Phillies $314 million, $56 million tax. And then we have the Jays, the Padres, the Red Sox. They all paid moderate taxes. The Jays a little bit more than the other two. And the Astros as well. Here's the first interesting thing that I saw on this chart that I'd like to discuss with you, Alex.
Mm-hmm.
That's the Texas Rangers, who are the ninth highest payroll. They were one of the 9 teams that paid the tax. And you know how much over they went?
How much?
$190,000. It takes
on purpose?
Special kind of fuck up to go $190K over the competitive balance tax and not reset your luxury tax.
Mm-hmm.
That is bad.
That's well played.
That is bad news. How does that happen?
Yeah, I don't know.
Is it like someone in the accounting department made a rounding error? The president of baseball operations was golfing when he should have been sending a player down to the minors. I mean, we're talking like 7 days in the majors for a guy.
Yeah. Well, and as you mentioned, like the kind of thing that has ripple effects, right? That's not just now we pay a tax on 190K. That is like fundamentally resets the limit of what we're allowed to spend in coming years.
Awesome work.
So good. Well done, guys.
Okay. And the other thing I wanted to talk about was this narrative that we saw shared that the Dodgers tax bill was higher than the payroll of 12 teams, the bottom 12 teams. That is the St. Louis Cardinals, the Colorado Rockies, the Cincinnati Reds, the Milwaukee Brewers, the Minnesota Twins, the Washington Nationals, the Cleveland Guardians, Athletics, the Pittsburgh Pirates, the Tampa Bay Rays, the Chicago White Sox, and the Miami Marlins. Is this narrative compelling to you, even in the slightest? Is it interesting at all to you?
I suppose it's a reasonable reflection of just the different pools that these teams are playing in, like the bifurcation of the sport. I think it says more about the teams at the bottom than it does about the teams at the top. But the idea of using it as a cudgel to sort of say, and this is why the Dodgers must be stopped. Like that's the angle that I just kind of don't really understand, especially when you see these tax bills and you recognize that effectively roughly half of this money is getting funneled back to those teams on the bottom who make up those the teams at the bottom. So I'm like, dude, this is not just the Dodgers spending in perpetuity and paying a tax that goes to line Rob Manfred's pockets or goes back into their own pocket, like whatever it is. This is a system that, in theory, is being set up to, yes, try and depress spending at the top, but then aid small spending teams at the bottom. And so it does make me wonder, like, when these tax bills continue to rise and more teams go over, or teams are paying, 100%, are paying like basically 100% taxes on going over the limit. Where is this money showing up? I don't quite get it. Is the implication that your payroll would be, and by you I mean the Pirates or the Marlins or whoever, that your payroll would be lower with the Dodgers not spending this much money? Or are you decoupling those things entirely and saying, yeah, the money's going onto the field, but like, it's really showing up in in vice president salaries and stuff like that. I don't know. It really makes me wonder, like, what is happening to the rest of this money.
I had the same thought. And I kept seeing the number trotted out like, oh, it's $170 million in taxes. Isn't that nuts? The way that the Dodgers can just throw money around like that. It's like, yeah, no, that's actually $170 million that wasn't going to players that the Dodgers got.
Yeah.
Famously.
Yes.
So their payroll on players was actually like closer to 300 million or even less. And so all that other money, all that $417 million figure, almost half of that wasn't even going to the on-field product. I mean, it is in a lot of ways, right? Like it's going in a number of ways, in resources and facilities and minor league development and all this money that the Dodgers have that other teams don't. And we talked about this last week when we were talking about evening out the competitive balance or the technological balance of the minor league player development system. But I'm like, that number being so big is a sign of how they want the system to be working. That the Dodgers are like, yeah, we'll spend over this so that you can spend more to get the players that you want, in theory. And to your point, they're not doing that. They're not signing the players that they want, except for the White Sox who are getting Murakami. Let's go. Dodgers. They said, thanks a lot, Guggenheim. We got him. Every year over year, no matter what the top teams pay in luxury tax, the bottom teams are spending marginally or significantly less than they are getting from those top teams. So it's just increasing profit from revenue sharing as a system. You're telling me that whatever this number is here of the total that was paid in luxury tax, you're telling me that that's going to be redistributed to the on-field product from those bottom 10 teams, from those bottom 12 teams. No way, dude. You think those teams are going to spend anywhere near the $300 million or $400 million that was paid in luxury tax on players to try to bring up the bottom end? No way. So this figure that the Dodgers paid, to me, is actually a better example of how the system right now is too friendly to the teams at the bottom.
Yeah.
And is reining in the Dodgers and others too much.
I love the idea of the Dodgers calling like the small market teams bluffs, basically being like, you know what, we'll spend even more money next year because that'll give you even more money and that'll raise your payrolls. Like I would love to see them spend $1 billion on payroll next year because then you're getting the rest of the team payrolls up to like 200 million. That's great. You've solved parity in baseball. You have the Dodgers and everyone else, and that's fine. I'll take that. But like, the more the Dodgers spend, the harder it gets to be able to justify. Like, we're getting these revenue sharing checks, and are still bad, and you're still not seeing it show up in our record, in the on-field product. Someone's got to do something about this. Say that much.
It's like they've invented a welfare state that people think that the bottom teams don't use.
Mm-hmm.
I would love to hear someone in the MLB fan council or whatever explain what happens to this money.
Right.
Like we're
Bob
talking.
Nutting is the real welfare queen, frankly.
Literally. I mean, we're spending all this time educating fans in the economics of baseball and what's really happening. Are you telling them what's happening with the revenue sharing check?
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to attend the fan council and hear what you guys say about what's going on with the revenue sharing checks.
Yeah. I guess regrettably, I am glad we talked about this. This is Tipping Pitch's core.
Exactly. What would happen if the Dodgers just didn't pay it?
Pay the tax?
Yeah, what if they just like went totally rogue? What do you think Rob Manfred would do?
Right. Like what are his punitive powers?
Correct. Is like, Mark Walter actually more powerful than Rob Manfred right now?
Right. Like what could he do? Like,
because the Dodgers are making like half of baseball's revenue.
Yeah.
It's really more like the Dodgers, Yankees, and Mets are making like, 60% of baseball's revenue. The Dodgers are probably making like 35% or 40% of baseball's revenue. But even still, the Dodgers, back-to-back World Series champions, the most popular player in baseball history, in the peak of his prime, the best run organization, probably the most fans outside of the Yankees. Well, definitely the most fans outside of the Yankees. And internationally, maybe the most fans in general. If the Dodgers were just like, we don't want to pay this shit anymore. Next year, we're not paying it. Whatever you want to work out in the CBA, I don't give a shit. We're not paying it. Write us out of it.
Dodgers rent strike. Let's go.
But obviously this would never happen, but what would happen? What would Rob do? Would he like arrest Mark Walter? Would you start seeing like Oppo research in the Wall Street Journal about Guggenheim like funding illegal trade abroad? Like what would fucking happen if they turned on each other?
That's a really good question. This is a great thought experiment. I don't think Rob Manfred would have any like statutory power to. I suppose.
Would we contract the Dodgers? We suspend them for a year?
I don't know. They're kind of too big to fail at this point, right? What are you going to tell Shohei Ohtani not to go play? Just like you know what this would be. This would be unincorporated baseball. Like maybe it's what we need.
Can the IRS arrest Jeff Bezos? This is like equivalently. This is the same thing to me. Jeff Bezos doesn't pay his taxes, but the IRS is not going to show up at Jeff Bezos' house and arrest him.
Right. Yeah.
Because he would be like, I'll have this IRS agent buried by tomorrow if you try to do this. So to me, in this closed loop economy, the Dodgers are the same.
Yeah. So functionally, the answer then is like they could penalize them, but they wouldn't.
Just don't pay it.
Yeah. Mark?
Be like, sit down, Rob.
422-5881.
Sit down, Mr. Manfred.
Talk.
What are you going to do, Morgan Sword?
Literally. Well, they create all the value. The thing is, if you ban the Dodgers from baseball for a year, you're just kneecapping the like value proposition of your entire sport. You literally need them. Like the landlords need the renters, you know?
Yeah, exactly. There's a lot of fantasy going into this conversation because the Dodgers would never do something like this.
Right.
Why would they want to kill their cash
Why
cow?
would they do that? Yeah.
But it never really occurred to me what would happen if a team was just like, nah. I don't think so.
Yeah. Well,
not this time, boss man.
I think the Dodgers are like a sort of an outlier of an example too, right? Because if the Rangers were like, meh, we're not going to pay our tax. I do think I do think Rob Manfred would go to their offices and say, you don't have a choice. You have no leverage here in this situation.
But Rob works for these people. I don't really understand what Rob's leverage is. Is he going to go to the Bank of America and be like, Bank of America, stop giving money to the Dodgers? And Bank of America is going to be like, sorry, we're busy fomenting instability around the globe so that we can profit off of both sides of global wars.
Yeah.
We have bigger fish to fry. The Dodgers not giving you this fake check for this.
We need to discuss whether or not feminism has failed women yet. You know,
such a deep joke. Would he go to the Supreme Court?
No, I think actually what he would do is he would go to the other 29 owners.
And what are they going to do?
Well, I don't know, but at least they're in the same class. You know. That's what you do when there's a guy, you know, drumming up support for a union, right? You go to his fellow employees and say, you need to talk to this guy, have him tone down the rhetoric a little bit.
Yeah,
getting a little too spicy. Let him know the pizza party's coming. You know,
I just think I need one owner to have a psychotic meltdown and refuse to do all the things that owners are supposed to do.
Yes. Where's our Charlie Finley when we need him?
Exactly. Although Charlie Finley never had money, so this is not an exact 1-to-1.
Yeah, you don't get that type of chaos with private equity.
We got to talk to like a lawyer or something. We got to bring another lawyer back. We got to get Eugene Friedman back on the pod.
Yeah.
Rob Maines, are you available to talk about what would happen if the Dodgers didn't pay the competitive balance tax?
More to come on this. We're going to run this one to ground.
I think they could get away with it.
I think they could too.
Splinter League.
Do some barnstorming action. Shohei Ohtani coming to a town near you.
That's what MLB is doing now.
Yeah.
All right. Do you want to do a quick bingo card review? I think we should probably talk about Diamond Baseball Holdings expanding their ownership in the minors. They're almost capped out on how many teams they can own. I think they are capped out at one level. They own the maximum that you can in AAA. I don't know. I can't remember. But they own 48 teams, and I think that 50 is the max that they can own.
Yeah.
So they're getting close. There is also another private equity group that has started buying up minor league teams, which is probably cool and good.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have a ton new to say because Diamond Baseball Holdings has not really started turning the screws and pulling the private equity playbook on any of these teams yet. And the other private equity group, whose name I don't know right now, is too new to really be pulling any of those moves either. But it's something that we are monitoring and interested in and wary of. And I believe at some point during this offseason, we will find some time to discuss it with noted Diamond Baseball Holdings expert and friend of the show, Jen Ramos. But I don't know. I don't have like a take. Stop buying these teams. That
Yeah. I mean,
what if the Dodgers told them stop buying the teams? Would they stop then?
I think no, they would say, how can we get in on this action? They say, this sounds like a great business.
What would Rob say if the Dodgers bought the Reds? We just bought the whole org. Castellini was like, fuck it. 10 billion. I'll take it.
I do think like within the bylaws of baseball that would not be allowed.
So it would be blocked by a court?
I think, yeah.
Man, I don't know. Where does this power for the courts come from? Like, what are they going to if Hunter Green shows up at Dodger Stadium and just starts throwing BP? Are they going to arrest him?
Let him pitch. Let him pitch. I don't think we need to spend too much time on Diamond Baseball Holdings either. I do think this sort of ongoing saga of the roll up, the private equity roll up of minor league teams, it's starting to come into focus a little more and has answered at least one of sort of my key questions, right? Which is, so Diamond Baseball Holdings buys up all the teams that they are allowed to buy up by baseball.
Mm-hmm.
Then what happens? And it turns out the answer is that other private equity groups come in and buy the rest of the teams that are still available, which is not really the satisfying answer I was hoping for. I think actually there's 2 new private equity groups that are participating in these sales. There's Prospector Baseball Group.
Sweet.
Which is invested in by Arctos.
Oh.
Which is like a big private equity group who is soliciting investment from KKR.
Oh, I love KKR.
Who
That's one
own
of
like
my
a bunch
big
of
ones.
NBA and NFL teams.
And like half of the earth.
It is. I'm not looking forward to minor league baseball sort of becoming like just this Russian nesting doll, you know, where it's like, yes, nominally these are the farm systems for Major League Baseball teams, but really they are investment vehicles for like a certain cohort of investors who are backed by a mid-sized private equity group who is owned by one of the largest private equity groups in the world. Like it's just, you start to see the world become a lot bigger and less insulated from sort of broader socio-economic forces. Like they're just another asset on a spreadsheet. And that's the way this goes. I'm not going to clutch my pearls and pretend like I don't think that this is already happening.
What's the etymology of that phrase?
Pearl clutching?
Yeah.
I think it's sort of like, you know, it's like you gasp and you like,
oh, you hand
clutch
to
your
the
pearls,
chest.
like hand to the chest, like, oh my goodness, how could they?
Gemini seems to think that it comes from this visual stereotype of wealthy upper class women reacting to scandal or indecency by theatrically grabbing their pearl necklace. I don't know why they had to make it a woman thing. And upper class women at that.
Weird, though, I will say that when this happened in high society, they were all usually standing around a stove talking about the latest news, the latest baseball trades.
That was one of our best bits in years.
It was so good. Yeah, I don't know, man. You see minor league baseball get less and less personal, less and less bespoke, less and less like unique and individualized, and I shudder a little bit to think what the private equity minor league baseball landscape will look like 10 years from now. Are they going to get rid of King Henry at Coney Island? Like, what's next?
I guess I just don't get it. The only real angle that I see is like they're running out of places to put their money in. They've already bought everything.
Yeah.
And they're like, sports feels like a pretty steady place to park some money for a little while so we don't have to pay taxes on it.
I mean, I think you're right. I think they're looking for other avenues to spend all of this wealth that's being generated by the 4 companies that exist in the world right now.
Yeah.
Who just keep trading it back to each other, reinvesting in each other. But I think maybe it's a little shocking to me that someone didn't come up with this sooner, because it sort of is like just a smaller scale example of what exists at the major league level, right? Which is to say that like it's a closed marketplace, right? There's no competition that's going to pop up. They're not just other minor league upstart teams that are all of a sudden going to come start drawing your fans away. The fans are there. They're geographically located. They have the ties to the team. Like, your audience exists right there. And also you have the players who don't have any choice in where they get to play. So like,
it's an inherent refreshing diversification of their assets where the rest of the places that they're parking money are non-existent fake AI generated metaverses. And they're like, wait, a chance to park some money in a place where real people show up?
Well, like, it's physical. It's a place. What do you mean?
This is such a throwback.
And where do you get the NFTs? Where do those come into play?
No, you'll see some of that in minor league baseball. You'll see a lot of that in minor league baseball in the next 10 years. That's for sure. Okay. Let's close out here doing a quick review of the old bingo card. I just checked it, and I believe, if my math is correct, and we'll go through this one by one, but I think we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 of 25. So some enterprising young listener out there may have hit bingo. It was possible for someone's card if they got really, really lucky. But it seems unlikely that anyone did. If you did, please email us, tippingpitchespod@gmail.com. And we will send you some free shit. You want to do like a mea culpa on the bingo card, or do you want to go through all of them first?
Maybe let's just like run through them real quick. Refresh people's memories on what we actually decided to put on here. Maybe a little explanation of why, if applicable.
Okay, we decided to each carry over one thing from the 2024 bingo card. You carried over David Rubenstein buys a new document, and I carried over my favorite phrase in the English language, Pete Ricketts' campaign finance scandal. Neither of those hit. 0 for 2.
No, but we're astroturfing the Pete Ricketts one in 2026. We're making it happen.
We are going to illegally donate money to Pete Ricketts. Next up was raw milk IL stint. You'll recall last offseason, this was all the rage to discuss how Bryce Harper was going to have a serious problem health-wise because of raw milk. Feels like we got an opportunity to do some EBOO content on the bingo card this upcoming year. We'll talk about that. Unfortunately, nobody's IL stint was linked to raw milk. We can't say whether this one is true or false, but we can't say that it's true, so we can't cross it off. Next up, fast food mascot throws first pitch for a non-Mets team. That hit. I don't remember how, but it did hit.
I don't either.
Team does a crypto-related promotion. I don't remember if this one hit or not, but I did cross it off because that almost certainly happened.
Yeah.
Some team did some crypto-related promotion. That was a gimme. Foreign substance scandal involving Zin. Shot my shot on that one.
Yeah. No scandal, but we did see it in a couple players' back pockets.
Correct, but no scandal. A's stadium timeline is delayed. What's the ruling on this one? Where are we at on the A's stadium timeline? We have not gotten an official delay, right?
No. Should we pull up the construction cam right now?
The construction cam, as listeners of the Patreon feed know, is a fucking psyop. And I'll leave it there. Another 40-40 season. I don't think we got that, right?
We didn't get that one, no. We got kind of roasted on this one.
I thought Soto got close.
Yeah.
Fucking Ohtani quit on us. John Boy pro labor pivot. Did you
Kind
catch
of
any of
really funny? Could not have been more wrong on this one.
Because they sold the company to MLB. Oh, Jose Andres' first pitch. I don't think we got that either, which is stunning. Let me just double check that.
I don't think we did. No.
That's brutal.
But mostly because I think it had happened the year prior. So we were really banking on a team. Like, I think he threw out
Nationals.
He threw out first pitch at the Nationals game. So we're really banking on like him riding that goodwill of I don't know, having his employees bombed, but
Jesus Christ.
those 15 minutes.
Let's move on. Okay, MLB partners with Saudi Sovereign Wealth Fund. Not that we know of.
Not yet.
Manfred meets with Trump. We hit that. Free space. Obviously, we hit that. A-Rod fitness startup. Miss. Steve Cohen donates to Zoran's opponent. By God, the work that we put into finding out if this actually happened or not, we basically should cross it off, but I don't think it did happen.
It did not happen. I looked so hard. And actually, at one point, I was led astray because there's a New Republic article out there that does cite Steve Cohen as donating to Cuomo. But it's a different Steve Cohen. It's like Cohen's, it's like Cuomo's lawyer or like campaign, someone like who's actually in his camp. There's an imposter out there, just like there's two Bill de Blasios.
There could be another guy in the New York City, a place with 13 million people named Steve Cohen who donated. Never would have thought that could happen. Okay, the next one is no one pitches 200 innings, and fucking A, Alex. Do you know how close we got to this? Do you know how many people pitched 200 innings in 2025?
Like three?
3 guys.
Mm-hmm.
Christopher Sanchez, 202 innings. Garrett Crochet, 205 innings. Logan Webb, 207 innings. We missed it by a combined 14 innings spread across 3 guys. That's messed up. That is messed up. If a guy pulled his hammy once, one of these guys, we would have hit it. Shit. Next up, Michael K. crash out. We hit that in a big way.
Yeah.
I mean, we hit it in a big way. We crossed it off well before this, but if we had not, we could have definitely crossed it out for the sex trapeze rant that he did. That we talked about on the Patreon with Ben Lindbergh.
So good.
Game stopped by climate activists. That was a miss. Game delayed because of airplane issue. Also a miss. Macklemore banned from Mariners ballpark was a hit.
I want to say we almost got the game delayed because the Dodgers flight was delayed during the playoffs at one point. It didn't impact, but I was sitting there and I was like, please, dear God,
Dave
don't
Roberts
let this plane
whined
take
about
off.
it for about 18 straight hours.
I know. Yeah.
I thought it was during the World Series.
I think it was during the World Series. Yeah.
Remember he implied that there was some chicanery going on with the Toronto government?
Right.
That was awesome. Rockies make no moves at the deadline. We missed on that. They did make moves at the deadline. Story about a team using AI in their front office. That was a hit. I believe the Boston Red Sox hit that for us, although I assume there was this story for basically every team.
Yeah.
Player helps catch a live animal on the field. That was a miss. Conditional sale of the Rays falls through. So far, still a miss. I think Zalewski did it. I think he's got the team. But we were on the right track. You know?
Were? Yes.
And the final one, the hardest one to verify or prove, in my opinion. Owner says, quote, woke in a press conference. I was not able to find evidence of this, so I'm calling it a miss.
I too was not able to find evidence of this, but that doesn't mean it didn't happen. So
it also doesn't mean that I didn't ruin my Google search algorithm by searching MLB owner wokeness, MLB owner saying woke, MLB owner talking about wokeness.
Right.
I got articles on here from like the Patriot Independent .ru, you know, like it's not good. It's not a good situation. So all in all, 6 of 25.
6 of 25.
But no, sorry.
Our best
6
showing.
of 24 because the free space.
Okay, yeah. Not our best showing. I think that's okay. I think we overperformed last year. We did really well. And so, look, I'm just going to say, I think we tried to set the bar a little bit higher for ourselves this year by pulling up for some more half-court shots.
Last year, we hit 14 of 24.
Jesus. So I think that means like 10 is our goal next year. Right? Split the difference.
Yeah. Shoot the gap.
Mm-hmm.
I think we
between
do
a rock
we
and a
do
hard
10.
place.
Yeah.
Between the lines.
Revert to the mean.
Oh, yeah. There you go.
Remember when Steve Cohen tweeted, "Take the means of reversion to the mean."
Reversion to the mean. Yeah.
Oh man, what a year! What a year for baseball! What a year for tipping pitches! What a year for the Dodgers to refuse to pay the luxury tax and start an anarchist splinter cell from Major League Baseball. Thank you all for listening along all year. Thank you for accepting our failures on the bingo card and otherwise. Thank you for supporting us over at patreon.com/tippingpitches. Thanks for being generally really good and nice and kind and friendly and thoughtful and all of those great things. I wholeheartedly appreciate it. I know, Alex, you do too. And I'm really looking forward for 2026, which is year 9 for the Tipping Pitches podcast.
Unbelievable. I'm really excited. We have some fun stuff coming up this offseason that we're planning for. So stick around. As you know, this is when we lock in.
Gimmicks will be done. Things will be drafted.
Mm-hmm.
Alcohols will be drank.
I'm certain of it. Still got a couple shore beers in my fridge right now.
No way you do not have some shore beers.
Yes, I do. What do you think? I'm just drinking them?
Just fucking pour them out, all right?
Yeah,
I'm sick of it taking up space in your fridge, and it's not even my problem. I want better for your fridge. This is our last episode on the main feed for the year. We have one more Patreon episode that's coming on Wednesday. Nothing like spending Christmas Eve listening to a cheeky little Wikipedia game.
That's right.
Episode of the Tipping Pitches Patreon. Just walk away from your family for about 80 minutes and be like, I got something to do.
Or play it for them. You know, they'll appreciate it.
I can't recommend that.
Don't co-sign it. Okay.
I can't co-sign it. We will be off on the 29th of December. We will be off on the 5th of January. Alex has to be in Washington that week, Washington, D.C. And then we will be back on January 12th with the next installment of the State of Labor in Baseball featuring Michael Bauman. Please enjoy the holiday season. Enjoy whatever holidays you celebrate. If you're spending time with family, I wish everybody a safe and restorative and enjoyable next few weeks. Alex and I will both be traveling and would like to take a little bit of rest here at the end of the year. So we'll see you in a few weeks. And if you're really yearning for some tipping pitches, you know where to get it. We'll talk to you soon.
Hello, everybody. I'm Alex Rodriguez. Tipping pitches.
Tipping pitches.
This is the one that I love the most.
Tipping pitches.
So we'll see you next week. See ya!